Welcome in, folks. Another edition of Fantasy Football Island on FanStream Sports, powered by DSP Media. I'm Tito, Jeff Thidoff. Follow me on Twitter at ThatHappens. The gentleman to my left, I use gentleman loosely. He is Chad Rink. Follow him at Chad Ochorinco on Twitter. And FanStreamSports.com. You can go and download the FanStream Sports app. It's a free app for Apple and Android users. Check out all of our round-the-clock programming. Lots of new stuff coming up all the time on all of our platforms. Also, go to the Facebook group and like that as well. Get all of the updates in a variety of ways right there. But any place you get your podcast, you can find our stuff as well. But we are, again, Fantasy Sports powered by DSP Media. And as we record this, we are on the eve of the NFL season starting up officially with Philadelphia and Dallas. Your draft hopefully is done by now. And Chad, I think I did about 60 or 70 drafts total this year. I don't know, how many did you do?
I was down this year. I did about 25.
Okay.
So, it's just crazy to do. I did more auction drafts this year than I had in the past couple years. So that was a little interesting kind of take on that. But like looking back at it, like who do you think are your most drafted players?
It's funny, we get into this thing where we're doing these drafts, and there are certain guys because we've done this, we know where people fall and where we can get them. And like I was thinking about this. There's as far as play, I got a lot of shares of Bucky Irving and Chase Brown. I seem to like end up finding them at good value. I think I probably value them more than maybe some of the other sites might. But those are a couple guys I've certainly gotten a lot of shares. I've got a lot of shares of the Dak and George Pickens stack. I've done a lot of that. And if they don't pan out, if that doesn't pan out well, then you may never hear me on the air again, because I've got so much invested in them for so many people I drafted for. But the Dak and George Pickens thing, I think of all the drafts, maybe two, maybe even just one, I took Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Not much him at all. I didn't get a lot of Jamar Chase because you had to have the first pick to do it, and just the randomness of that. As far as the tight ends go, I got a lot of Tyler Warren, and some ones where I waited way too long for a tight end. I shouldn't say, but I waited longer for a tight end though. If I had that Dak Prescott, George Pickens stack, a lot of times I took Jake Ferguson also. Yeah. So how about you?
Yeah, I'm with you too. Like they're gonna fire us if Dak does not do well, because I tell you, he was the most drafted quarterback I had. I did have a lot of Chase Brown. I was able to get him all the time earlier.
Right.
Then later on, you had to get him by mid-second. So, yeah. And then I didn't feel comfortable drafting him like in the first, even back end of the first, because I knew if I had like 9, 10, I could get him probably in the turn. But I love Chase Brown. Auction drafts, like I spent more than I probably needed to on that. I never went crazy, but he was the guy, because if you get Bijan, we're at 60, 65. Barkley the same way. You could get Chase Brown like 40. The 45-ish. I'd take that. The one guy I think I probably got in almost every single one of my drafts is Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah.
I targeted him probably a round or two earlier than I needed to, because there's just, you get that group of receivers. Once it hit, I'm like, I just like him more than the guys that were going to go ahead of him. So I just might as well grab him there. And then no surprise, there was a kicker that I drafted a lot more, and it was Tyler Loop. I love me some Tyler Loop.
Tell me you waited to take the kickers.
No, I did. Okay. I did wait, which that'll lead us to my next thing about just draft recap.
Or recap, depending on how bad it was. It could be recap in some cases.
It could be, yes. Some of them were. Like the trends, like don't stop taking defenses before the last 2 rounds. It was crazy how many people were wanting to take the Denver defense in like round 10.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So those are some trends. I did see, it was crazy. I don't know if you did a lot of auctions. Outside the top 5 quarterback with Burrow, Daniels, Hurts, Allen, Jackson, those guys with premium, you could get quarterbacks for under $10. Like Mahomes, I don't think Mahomes more than $11.
Yeah.
I don't think I spent more than 8 on Dak. Guys like Trevor Lawrence, those kind of guys, you get them late for like $1. So if you don't want one of those 5 quarterbacks, you could have got quarterbacks for cheap.
Yeah, you absolutely could have. I agree with you. Yeah, it's that part was interesting for sure on that. And so, any other players that you didn't like? I mentioned the fact that only many shares of McCaffrey. Is there anybody that you that you didn't get a lot of? You look at it like top players that you look back and say, I never really drafted that guy.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I did one that I'm helping co-manage, and we had the 9th pick in like a 2-quarterback league, and it ended up being a disaster, just for many reasons. But Gibbs and Jefferson, I actually got them both.
Okay,
and I never really got much of Gibbs because Gibbs sometimes went top 5.
Okay,
and then Jefferson was usually there, and I would prefer to have Lamb. Or I just didn't. I was either drafting too late or too early to take Jefferson. And with Gibbs, it was more of I'd rather take the chance on McCaffrey because I don't know, like, are they going to use Gibbs more or not more? And it just was one of the things. So I had very little shares of both those guys. And then really Packers, as a Bears fan, I just don't. But there were a couple guys that were like, I'm a Packers fan. I'm like, I'm a Bears fan, so I don't know if I can help you. But I did. There was just like the Packers here outside of Josh Jacobs,
right?
There was really nobody that like I really thought, okay, that's a good target, and you can get them whenever,
right?
So I had very little shares of love. Even Jacobs too, just where Jacobs going, I was grabbing Chase Brown.
Yeah, you mentioned the Justin Jefferson thing, and there were a lot of times that I was faced with not a lot of Lamb got taken usually before Jefferson and all the ones I did, but there was a lot of times it seemed like when it came to me, I was looking either Justin Jefferson or Nico Collins. And in some cases, like, Bucky Irving Jr. would be up there around that time, that range too sometimes, but and Derrick Henry. Yeah. And I don't have much Derrick Henry either. I don't have much Saquon, but when it comes to Jefferson or Nico Collins, where were you leaning mostly?
I think with Collins, I just like they're both. It's such a weird one because Jefferson's the better talent, and if McCarthy can do anything, then Jefferson's going to have a huge year. I think Collins is a sneakier one,
right?
And I think he's got the better quarterback,
and
so it was really Collins. Really, I was neither because if Jefferson fell to like 8 in a 10 team, I was still going probably running back. It was mostly like something like McCaffrey, Taylor,
right?
McCaffrey, Brown. So I was still going running back because in a 10 team, I really liked who I could get receiver in the 3rd and 4th round.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's kind of like that too. But like I found myself, there were some times where I get on this run with some of these teams, and just the value was so much there. I'd take 3 receivers, start the draft. That happened a few times. I took 3 straight receivers, and then went back and got guys, DeAndre Swift, and people like that. I got a lot of Travion Henderson. I don't know if that's Buckeye Homer me or not, but Travion Henderson, I seem to get a lot of him as well. But yeah, the strategy as far as that goes, though, the trends, like you said, and people took quarterbacks. I noticed that people still don't quite. I don't say they don't get it because that's kind of a rude thing to say, but if it's a 4-point passing touchdown league, there's no reason to use an early pick on a quarterback at all. And so I stuck to my guns on that kind of stuff. The only time I didn't, there was one draft where I did have the number 1 pick. It was like a 12-team league. So, and it was 5-point passing touchdown, but not a super flex, but 5-point passing touchdown. And I got Jamar Chase number 1. And then the first pick of the 3rd round, I took Joe Burrow. Okay. Which I normally wouldn't do that, but I thought just the 5-point passing touchdown in the stack was too valuable to pass up.
I agree with that too. Like I think too, one of the things to take away is draft guys from good teams because they will score more points. So,
and they'll play more meaningful games later in the season too.
They will. Exactly. So that's it. So it's kind of interesting. I was looking because you and I are in 2 leagues together.
Yes.
And I did not realize it until I was setting lineups.
Oh,
we play each other in both leagues week 1. So I think that was for the podcast. So we could talk about the one is the one you run, which is the one that's kind of like, that's I don't know if it's for you too, is like the most important league.
No doubt about it. Yes. And ironically, one I haven't won in the 10 or 11 years we've been doing this damn thing. But yes, I had the best team last year, and then Jalen Hurts screwed me. I'm over it. I did not hold it against him. I protected him.
Yeah. So how do you look this year, your team? What are you liking it? What do you think?
Yeah. I do like this team quite a bit that I've got. It's I feel like I had to take a shot at one of the running. Like we start 3 running backs in this league and 4 receivers, 2 quarterbacks, tight end. It's a very complex league, but nonetheless, I do like my team. My weakest part is my third running back. I took some chances on that one. I've got the one I have in my lineup right now is Ollie Gordon, somebody I think picked up a lot of traction. Our league touchdowns are not as important as traditional scoring leagues, but still it does help. But I like Ollie Gordon quite a bit. I got him. And I like my team quite a bit still. I do.
Yeah, I do not.
You do not like my team or your team?
Not like my team is interesting because I did to surprise to nobody that knows me in this league. I did trade my rookie pick
for next year
already for next year.
Yes,
because I was a little weak at running back, and I had Charbonnet already, but I'm like I kind of would like Kenneth Walker. And I wanted that whole backfield, so made some trades. So I think my outlook, like playoff wise, is probably like Phil Collins's like best song.
Okay,
and that is Against All Odds. So I know some of you guys were thinking Susudio out there, but no, it's Against All Odds.
Yes.
Which, we'll see what happens. I like my receivers. It's just you never know because it's a category league.
Yeah.
So things could pan out. So yeah. So we will see next week. We could be one of us could be gloating a lot.
Yeah.
We could split. One of us could just be wearing all black. So I know that's the worst thing you guys want to hear is other people's fantasy leagues.
I'll tell you my golf round too.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So I just thought it was interesting to play each other in both those.
Both leagues. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did this 2 years ago, and I can't remember who did well because I still have it written down somewhere. I didn't, but we'll give out our bold predictions, 5 each for the upcoming season, and then we'll kind of give you our top 10. I think we'll do top 5 tight ends by position for week 1. We'll try to do that every week as well of the season. Maybe try to get it on the site too. So bold predictions for 2025.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go with my first one. I've got it over here. I've got Dak Prescott finishing as a top 3 quarterback this season. Dak Prescott will have a huge year this year. Cowboys will be behind as always, but even more so this year because they don't have Micah Parsons. And having George Pickens there as a legit number 2, and the Cowboys running game is suspect at best, or sus. Right, is what it is. Yes, as the kids would say, in case the kids are out there listening. But yes, and I think that Pickens, Lamb, that Dallas offense is going to throw the ball a lot. I think Dak finishes as a top 3 scoring quarterback this year. Yeah, I'm on that. I think he struggles this week, and it's going to make us look stupid. But they're playing the Eagles, so I'm going to So I have that as one of mine is Dak leads the NFL in both passing yards and passing touchdowns. Okay. If you look his last 3 healthy seasons. 2019, he was 2nd and 4th in those categories. 2021, 7th and 6th. And then in 2023, 3rd and 1st. So he does have his best wide receiver 2 ever in George Pickens. They have no run game, no Micah Parsons. It's going to be Dak slinging it around. So I am with you on Dak. I've got Saquon Barkley finishing outside the top 9 among running backs. He had a fantastic year last year, but with that number of touches, we've talked about this before, Chad, the 482 touches he had, played until mid-February, damn near mid-February, and that is going to affect him this year. He will take a step back this year. He will still be okay, but I see him missing some time, which is probably why he will finish outside the top 9. Yeah, I just don't see him getting close to 2,000 yards again. He had a ridiculous amount of 40-plus touchdowns. I think that team's going to probably be more balanced. So I agree with you there. I'm going to go another running back and go Chase Brown ends the season as a top 3 running back. If you just give him Zach Moss's touches from last year, which was 97, I'm going to round up to 100 just for math reasons. Sure, let's do it. When I did this. At his averages, that'd be an additional 104 fantasy points, and that would have put him at RB3 last year. Depending, he could have been RB4, depending where you're at. So, Barkley, Henry, Gibbs, depending on your scoring system. So he's right there. He could have a 350 to 400 touch volume this year. And volume alone, he's got enough talent. That team is going to score. They're going to probably be ahead a lot and just try to run the game out. So I can see him sliding into a top 3 running back season this year, especially if he could get 15, 16 touchdowns. Yeah, it's a good call on that one. Yes, I think so too on that one. I will go with Jalen Hurts with double-digit rushing touchdowns again. I think that they're going to, the sense that the tush push is still in there, and but he's he and Lamar Jackson are both on pace for some incredible rushing numbers for their careers as far as touchdowns and yards and whatnot goes. But I would say I think Jalen Hurts goes. Let's get bold. At least 12 rushing touchdowns this year. I'll go even more than double digit, or even more than that. I'll go at least 12 rushing touchdowns this year for Jalen Hurts.
I was going to say 10 didn't seem too bold. I'll give you 12, but at some point, don't they have to not be on the one? Like, how many times can a team be on the 1 yard line?
That's fair.
Like on that. So, I mean, I do that because that's just, it's crazy that he has scored. It's crazy. I mean, I think he's like top 5 in rushing in touchdowns, like in the last 5 years, which is crazy. So
going back to Saquon too, like you remember last year, Saquon had a lot of long rush touchdowns, and that's something that can't continue. That won't repeat itself, you wouldn't think, which means closer touchdowns for Philadelphia, which could mean more Jalen Hurts.
Exactly. I'm going to go Emeka Egbuka, top 10 wide receiver in fantasy this year. And here's why. So 2024, Chris Godwin, if you took his fantasy points per game, what he played, he was on pace to be the wide receiver 2. You look at the last 3 years, the wide receiver 10 was Garrett Wilson last year, 101, 1,100 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns.
Okay.
There were 2 rookies in the top 10 last year. 2023, wide receiver 10, Devonta Adams, 103 receptions, 1,144 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 rookie in the top 10. And in 2022, Amari Cooper was the wide receiver 10 at 78, 1,160, and 9. So I don't know if he gets the 100 receptions, but I could see him in that 75 to 80, 11 to 1,200 yards, and 7 to 10 touchdowns. When I think that would put him as a top 10 wide receiver.
I am going to go with my next one that Trey Brown is the leading running back in scoring for the Arizona Cardinals. Okay. Trey Benson, I'm sorry. Did I say Troy Brown?
Troy Brown. Yeah.
I said Troy Brown. Yeah, it's a different one. That would be a really bold thing there.
That would be since he hasn't played since the
yes,
90s.
Right. Trey Benson will be the scoring leader among running backs for the Arizona Cardinals. I think that, look, James Conner had a fantastic season last year. Really good for him. But even Conner came out and said he thinks that the scales may tilt towards Trey Benson this year. I think Benson ends up being the guy this year and ends up with more fantasy points than James Conner.
Gotcha.
Is that bold? That's not bold.
That is kind of bold because Conner has been pretty healthy.
Yeah.
And he's been an elite back. And I think Benson's got a little bit more pop. So I don't mind that one at all. And I do consider it bold. This one's a little bit bolder.
Oh,
Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah.
I'm not good at impressions or like, what are those called? Like, dialects or whatever. So he's a top 10 running back this year.
Really?
Yeah. So this is going to be, I don't ever want to like root for injuries. I'm not going to root for a Kenneth Walker injury.
You don't have to root for it. It just happens naturally.
But he has injury history and it's all lower leg. He's dealing with a foot thing right now. So last year, Charbonnet was the RB25 last year in a part-time role. Kamara, if you look at it, was the RB9 last year, and his offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, is now in Seattle. If you combined when Clint Kubiak was in Minnesota, Cook and Madison's work, because Cook did get hurt, they would have been RB3. So I think what if Walker stays healthy, Walker is going to be a top 10. But if he gets hurt early on, I think Charbonnet can be a top 10 running back.
Okay. And now we got to do one more for each of us here.
One more.
Okay. I'm going to have Najee Harris leading the Chargers in fantasy running back points this year.
Look at that. I think you're bringing it.
He said he's going to come back. He's going to be back week 1 is what Harbaugh said. He's going to play this week. And I don't know if he's going to have an eye patch on. That would certainly limit some of his vision abilities. His vision, if that's the case. But yes, I think that Najee Harris ends up being the top running back scoring wise for the LA Chargers.
That is a bold one. And you think that might be the boldest one, but I'm going to
hold my beer.
I'm going to bold my beer. I like that. This one, there are predictions, there are bold predictions, and then there's whatever this is.
Okay.
To lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
Roschon Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you serious?
Roschon Johnson. You think that's ridiculous. Let me give you some data. Or data, as some people say.
I just cut him in one of my leagues.
That's he's questionable right now too. So this could be horribly bad, or I could become a genius. So the year prior to Ben Johnson as the OC, DeAndre Swift had 6 rushing touchdowns. Jamal Williams had 3.
All right.
In 2022, Ben Johnson's first year as the offensive coordinator in Detroit, DeAndre Swift had 5 touchdowns.
Okay.
Jamal Williams, his 17 rushing touchdown barrage.
Okay.
And then in 2023, 2024, Montgomery and Gibbs, 13, 10 to Montgomery, 16, 12 to Gibbs. So there's a lot of rushing touchdowns in a Ben Johnson offense. Oh, and guess what? Last year, do you want to know who led the team in rushing touchdowns last year for the Bears?
Who's that?
Oh, Swift and Johnson. Each had 6.
Okay.
However, Roschon converted 6 of his 8 inside the 5 rushes into touchdowns. So that's a pretty good conversion rate.
Sure.
Inside the 5.
Yeah.
Do you know how many inside the 5 rushing attempts Jamal Williams had in his 2022-17 touchdown season?
Oh, he had a bunch in there.
29.
Yeah, he had quite a few in there, yes.
So he doesn't have to even have that kind of conversion rate. Plus, Ben Johnson didn't want to give DeAndre Swift the goal line carries when DeAndre Swift was 4 years younger.
Right.
So if Roschon Johnson stays healthy, he's bigger than Monangai. I think he could be one of those like 15, 17 rushing touchdowns on like 40 carries or something too. So that's just it. And once I kind of started looking at this, Roschon was like my last pick in like the last 8 drafts I did. So I put my money where my mouth is.
You absolutely did on that one. Then yes, if that's the case, yes, you did. I did not see that Roschon Johnson one coming from you. That's a good pick. Good. That is bold. Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah,
it is. All right. So if he busts out for 5 touchdowns on Monday night, oh my gosh, my pants are going to fly off. So, all right. So we will end this with our weekly top 10 by positions, try to help you guys out each week when you're trying to make some decisions. You can always reach us on the X. He is at That Happens. I am at Chad Ochorinco. Any questions you want to throw at us, we will answer. So we are going to give you our top 10 by position for week 1. We'll start with the quarterback position. We don't break down. My top 5 are Hurts, Baker, Lamar, Josh Allen, Bo Nix.
Hurts, Baker, and you said Lamar, right?
Josh Allen, Bo Nix.
Okay. I'm going to go with I like Daniels against the Giants. I think Daniels is my one this week.
Okay.
And then I would take Hurts second. I would take Josh Allen third. I'll take Burrow fourth.
Okay.
And I'll take Lamar Jackson fifth.
There you go. And then to round mine out, I got Burrow. And then I'm going crazy with my last 4. I don't even have your number 1 on my top 10 list.
Okay.
I'm going Tua, Bryce Young, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. I'm going to go Baker Mayfield. I will go Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, Patrick Mahomes, and Brock Purdy.
Okay.
That's my little tip.
Gotcha. I took some chances on game scripts that I think could go crazy, like that Jags Carolina game is not great. So I think Hurts, Jackson, Allen, Baker, some of the top quarterbacks will have huge weeks this week. So if you did draft them early, they will pan out for you this week. So running backs, who do you got? Who's your top running back?
That's always a tricky one with the running back thing because, you get a fluky touchdown in there. But yeah, so I'm going to go with Bijan 1. I'm going to go with Gibbs 2, Bucky Irving 3 against Atlanta. I'll take CMC 4th, and then I'll go with Saquon 5.
Okay. Yeah, I've got CMC at 4 also, but I've got Jonathan. I've got Jonathan Taylor as my number 1. I think the Miami defense is horrible. He could have 3 touchdowns this week. I think they're going to rely on him because it's Danny Dimes for crying out loud. Yeah. So Taylor 1. I think Chase Brown 2. I think he's one of those guys. I think he can get multiple touchdowns. I think that I think that Bengals-Browns game is not going to be as high scoring as you think. I think that they'll move the ball, and I think Chase Brown, he gets the ball in the end zone a couple times. So I got him at 2. I like James Conner at 3 in that matchup. Said CMC 4. And then I do like Josh Jacobs at 5. Just that's more of a volume play than anything else.
I'll take Henry at 6 for me. I'll take Chase Brown at 7. Give me Josh Jacobs at 8. I'm going to take I got Taylor at 9.
Okay.
And then Ashton Janty at 10.
Gotcha. I think that maybe his only healthy week, Kenneth Walker the 3rd at 6. I'm taking J.K. Dobbins at 7 just for the fact I think Denver puts up 40.
Okay.
I think that defense gets some turnover, short fields, and I think Dobbins is probably their goal line guy right now. So I think he can have a pretty decent game there. The bold one of the week is Travis Etienne. I think that game is going to be high scoring.
Uh-huh.
I think they may run the ball a lot more, and I think Etienne's their best running back. So I got him. Then I've got Derrick Henry and Saquon to round it out. I still think even Saquon not having a huge game
right.
can still put up 150 and a touchdown, and then grab a couple out of the backfield.
All right, your receivers now. What do you like?
All right, so it's on brand for me this draft season. Emeka Egbuka at 1.
Oh, wow.
Listen, there's always that one receiver that kind of comes out of nowhere in some of these games. I always remember it was Deshaun Jackson. If you go back and look, he would have huge week 1 games.
Yeah.
And then didn't really do much last year. So I think Egbuka against the Falcons, with just Evans really the only other weapon, could break a couple long ones. So I like Egbuka 1. I hate to say it, but Jefferson 2. I just think he can torch my Bears. Cortland Sutton 3. I do like Drake London 4, and then I think Devonta Smith tomorrow night at 5.
Okay, I've got Jamar Chase. I make sure I get this right. Jamar Chase at 1. I've got Nico Collins at 2 going against the Rams. I think they'll be throwing the ball a lot, and I do like C.J. Stroud quite a bit this year as well. Give me Brian Thomas Jr. against Carolina as my 3rd one. I will take the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 4, and at 5, I'll go CeeDee Lamb.
Gotcha. I'm buying into the Bucks. I'm taking Mike Evans 6. I think this could be one of those games where Baker throws for 400 and the two of them just go nuts. I like Malik Neighbors at 7 on a couple deep balls. I do like Brian Thomas Jr. this week at 8, and give me the rookie Tet McMillan at 9, and then Xavier Worthy Friday night at 10. So Jamar Chase is not on my list.
Oh,
I think Higgins is going to have the bigger week, but I still think it's going to be a Chase Brown game. And I still say that Cleveland defense can be stymied. That Bengals offense. So
I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson in my 6th spot. I've got Drake London at 7, Puka Nacua at 8. I don't care about the holdout. He's back. Terry McLaurin is going to be there at 9. And then for my 10th one, I had A.J. Brown for Philadelphia.
Gotcha. I think Philly's going to score a lot tomorrow night. So,
I think so too.
We're just going to do 5 tight ends because I think you get past 5, and I think all the tight ends are all about the same. So I'm going George Kittle 1. I think they're going to have to rely on him. This is going to be one of his 150-2 games with no other really healthy wide receivers. Mm-hmm. I do like Evan Ingram in a Denver game they're going to score a ton. I think Trey McBride is going to be a staple on this list at 3. David Njoku, I think, is going to be the one bright spot in Cleveland. And then I do like Mark Andrews at 5.
I like McBride's the number 1 guy for me at New Orleans this week. I think Cardinals are going to put up a lot of points on them. I would take Trey McBride at 1. Brock Bowers is still, he's the best receiver on that team. And they got Cooper. And they got the cat was in New England. Who am I thinking of? The receiver.
Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers. I got him also. But I think Brock Bowers is still their best receiving option. I'll put him at 2. I will take Mark Andrews at 3 for Baltimore going against Buffalo. At 4, give me George Kittle, and at 5, I'll take T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah, I probably should have put Bowers in that list instead of Njoku, but
hey, you can't say you're not bold.
I'm not bold. Week 1's always weird. Week 1 gets some weird stats. So again, here's the thing: draft season's over. The draft is just where the base of your team. You win the season in waiver wire pickups, trades.
Yep.
Make the right moves. And, don't panic after a week 1 great game by a guy or a dud. Like, I'm already preparing Dak to have like 198,
right.
1 and 3.
Yeah.
So just make sure you don't overreact, and then don't underreact, I guess. Is there an underreact? Can you underreact?
You can, let's see, you can overreact. You can react. I don't underreact. You can,
don't panic, I guess was the other one. Like
don't unpanic.
Don't overreact. And don't panic. Don't gloat. So
yes, do that. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we've got this Eagles-Cowboys game, then followed up by the Chargers and Chiefs out in Brazil is where they're playing in that one. And then the full slate of games on Sunday, and then the Monday night game with Minnesota and Chicago should be interesting. The Sunday game will be great, Baltimore and Buffalo. That should be a lot of fun out there in Buffalo for that one. But yeah, can't wait for this. Been looking forward to this week for so long now. And it makes up, look, last week was a huge college football week. This week is a dud college football week. It's an awful week for college football this week, except for a couple of games. But yeah, keep an eye on the injuries and, get up, set a lineup right now. Set your lineup right now, and then make sure you go back and check it. See if there's any news, anything changed somewhere where you got anything popped and you got to change something in your lineup. Make sure it gets set, because there's nothing we hate more than a lineup of 0 or an illegal lineup.
Exactly. And also, if you have 4 o'clock guys, Sunday night guys, Monday night guys, put them in your flex just in case something were to happen.
Yeah.
And then you can pivot and move them out. So that's always a good strategy there.
That's a great point. Yeah, the whole thing with that, you make sure if you don't have a 1 o'clock guy in your flex who plays the same position as a 4 o'clock guy in your lineup. Don't do it that way. Make sure you always have the latest possible thing on there. And by the way, if somebody on your team, and this goes out throughout the season, if there's someone on your team that might not play on Sunday night or Monday night, make sure you've got a backup to put in there. Because you don't want to get stuck taking the 0. If they got a guy say, hey, this guy's 50-50 for Monday night, make sure you've got somebody else, his backup or somebody else who's playing Monday night, you can put in there into that spot. Always have a contingency plan in place. I promise you, whoever the last guy is on your roster, the worst guy on your roster, you can afford to lose that person, unless it's Rashawn Johnson, who I cut. And Chad's got me worried now. I have to go back and see if I can re-pick him up, because I actually, look, I'm gonna wipe the floor with him this weekend in both leagues, but I still trust his opinion. And put it to you this way: in baseball, there are sometimes hitting coaches who are fantastic hitting coaches, but couldn't hit the big leagues. Walt Herniak was a great one. Walt Herniak was an awful hitter, and he was one of the best batting coaches. Charlie Lau was another one. I think George Brett was one. Anyway, Chad can coach. He can't play. So anyway,
did not know we were going to get a Walt Herniak reference on a fantasy
bingo
football
card,
show, but there you go.
All right, that's it for Baseball. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Again, Fantasy Sports powered by DSP Media. Follow us on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. You can follow us too, but like us for sure. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at @ThatHappens. He's at Chad Ochocinco. Download the app for free. FantasySports.com. All kinds of great content. We'll talk to you again as we get closer. God, the season's here. All right, talk to you later, folks.
See you.